Hello everyone. So my name is Leetcode and today we are here with a new problem, longest turbulent subarray. So the problem is we have given an array and this array contains only integer and we have to give the maximum size of array, or we can say a subarray having maximum size which follows a turbulent pattern. What do you mean by turbulent pattern? Here is the explanation of a turbulent pattern, right? But just understand with the help of the presentation, and I will tell you what actually is the meaning of turbulent. Turbulent means in the problem we have given, if we are at some position, let's suppose if we are at some kth index, okay, so according to that index everything, okay, so if I am at some position at kth index, so everything to its left, or we can say the element which is present to its left, okay, should be, if it should be less than, so k minus 1, and the element which is at the right, which is k plus 1, also less than that k value. If this condition satisfies, then we can say that it is a turbulent pattern. Or if we are at some index k, then at the left side, the element that we have, which is k minus 1, should be greater than, and the element at right, which is k plus 1, should also be greater than that. Then we can say it is a turbulent. So if any index k follows this or follows this, we can say that it is turbulent in nature. So what we have to do, we have to check and we have to find the maximum length of that subarray which follows a pattern of this turbulent array. If we closely look to this pattern, it is something like let's suppose if k is the point which is present at there. So if let's suppose this is 2, okay, or let's suppose this is 10, okay, and for this condition I am saying the k minus 1 should be less than this in this 10. It means the less than 10 value we have 6, okay, so, and this is one index less than that kth index and its value is 6, and in its k plus 1 position we have an element which should less than that, so maybe there is 8, and this is a k plus 1 index. Don't confuse with k and 10 and 10 minus 1 9. This k is the index, okay, and if we join this we get a pattern like that, okay. And for this one, let's suppose if I have 6 and this is the k, so and in its left the element should be greater, so greater than 6, let's suppose if in k minus 1 index we have 8, and similarly in k plus 1 index we also need some greater value, which is let's suppose 9. By connecting this we get that type of pattern, right? But if we join these two patterns, okay, so we get a pattern like this. So if the k point is there, or if the k point is there, okay, it follows the turbulent pattern. So what does that mean? Let's suppose in our array we have this much index, Let's suppose this is, let me change the color, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and these are the index. So we do not have to check this 0. We have to check this, we have to check this index. If these two index follows the these two conditions, then we can say that yeah, this whole pattern is turbulent, right? But let's suppose after that we have some value like this, and this is 4 as index, but the its value is greater than that. And when we check for this point is not turbulent, because what is turbulent? Turbulent is whichever the point we are in, its left and right should be less than or should be greater than. But you can see its left is less but its right is greater. So this is not turbulent. So we can say only this point and this point satisfies the turbulent pattern, and this is our answer. Okay, not this pattern. Now the problem comes how we can solve it. Okay, I think this thing clear to you, like what are the things that we have in the problem. From that rules how we create these two patterns, and from these two patterns how we create the main pattern, which is a turbulent pattern, and from this pattern how we can find our answer. So let's suppose if this is the array we have, so how we can do it? So we have a 0, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5, we have 6, 7, 8 and 9. So as I said, and there is one more condition. This is the pattern, and if sometime we get the same value, okay, at that time we have to skip it and check for the next. Okay, so for the similar thing we have to skip it because this is not the right thing, which not follows the turbulent pattern. So what we do, this is 0, sorry for this is 1 and 2, 3, let me clear this. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So we don't have to check for that, but we only check if it is not same. Now we are at this position. Let's suppose this is our 4. Okay. So we check 9 is there and 2 is there. And this pattern, as you can see, this is 9 and this is 2. You can see this is not a turbulent pattern. So we don't think for this 9 and we check for the next element. So now we discard this 9 and we check for the next. So for the next we do the same thing. What we do? We took 2 here and check for that. Here we have 4, so this is 4. Here we have 10, so this is 10. And yeah, you can see this is the turbulent pattern. Now after that we are at position 10. Okay, and we check this 2 and this 7. So 2 is less and 7 is also less. Let's suppose the 7 is there and it also follows the turbulent pattern, right? Now we are at 7 and we check for 8. So the 8 is somewhere there. Okay, and this 7 also follows the turbulent pattern. Now there is again 8. So till now, from there to there, we have a sub-array which follows a turbulent pattern. So the 4 is at the index 1. Okay, let me change the color. And the 7 is at the, or we can say 8 is at the index 5. Right. So what is the length between them? We can find it by 5 minus 1 plus 1, which is 5. So as for now, we have this as our answer. Now let's calculate for more. Now we don't have to think about this because we actually calculated. Now we have to start from there. So the next one is 1. So the 1 should be down side. Okay. So we are starting from there. After that there is a 9 and 9 should be greater. We can say this is also turbulent pattern. Now the 8 is at the 6th index and the 9 is at the 8th index. And the array between them is 8 minus 6 plus 1, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3. So previously we have answered as 5. So we don't have to think about 3 because we need a maximum subarray. So we don't think about it and that's our answer. So this is what how we can get the answer. But how we can code it, let's think for that. So simple as that. Here we also take the two pointers. Okay, so there is a start and there is an end pointer. As you can see, there is a pointer there and there is another pointer which is present in there, and we have to check between these two. If if 9 is greater than 4, okay, so we have to check the next item should also be greater than 4 in order to maintain the turbulent pattern, but it is not. So now the start is at the 4th index and the j is at the 2nd index. Now 4 is greater than 2. Now, whatever the next element should be greater than 10 in order to create the turbulent pattern, and this is right. So the start remains there and the end goes there. And similarly we goes on, and that is the whole thing. Let's just understand the code and whole things is clear to you. So the code is very easy. As for now, answer is taken as 1 because if there is only one element, then we can say that the maximum turbulent patterns of array is 1. And if there is only one element, the answer should be 1 because there is nothing for which we can compare. Now the I and j. So this is my start and this is my end. But you can ask me, these are all pointing at the same index. Don't don't confuse here. Just move with the flow and you understand it. Now the another question is why we are writing I plus 1 is less than the length of array. See it carefully. Let's suppose if we will go till there. If let's suppose I go till last, then we can check for the left, but there is no right. Then we get an error. That's why we have to go till last minus 1. Okay. That's why we are writing I plus 1 less than array. And if they are equal, we simply have to increment our start. Okay. And let's suppose in the first condition I is 0, j is 0, and as I said, if I is at the 0th index, the j is at the 0 plus 1 index. So similar work here. So I is, let's suppose, at 0 and j is at 1, and the j plus 1 should also less than array. Now here again questions come, why it actually happens. So uh, let's suppose that there is a I and there is a j and everything after that is turbulent. So we go till there and check for left and right, then check for left right, then check for left right. But if we go there, then there is left but there is no right. That's why we will go only till that. Okay, that is the reason we do it, and then we check is that turbulent or not. If it is, increment j plus 1, and where the breakpoint comes, breakpoint means, as you can see, at that position we have a breakpoint. We are getting 8 is equal to 8, which is not a turbulent pattern, so we have to stop at this point and we get this answer. And now our start position is at this is at the end position. Now the end is where, so our j is there So and the right is not a turbulent, the right stuff is not turbulent, so we make it there. Okay, so the I is becoming j, and the similar process goes on. Okay, now we understand what is turbulent, simple as that. Let's suppose if we are at some index j, so at its left, if at its left the value is less and at its right the value is less, or at its right value is greater, or at its right left the value is greater, if any of these condition works, it return true, otherwise it returns false. And that's how it works. Let me submit that so that we can see. So it is accepted. Thank you friends, and bye bye.